It started with a suitcase. I was 11 when my parents told me I'd be staying with friends for a bit. No explanation, no timeline, just my bag zipped and waiting by the front door when I got home from school. They drove me to the Morrisons' house that same evening. The Morrisons were people we saw at church sometimes. They had 3 kids already, 2 boys and a girl around my age, and lived in a small 3-bedroom house on the edge of town. It was obvious from the moment we pulled into their driveway that this wasn't a vacation or a slumber party. Their front porch light flickered, and the lawn looked like it hadn't been mowed in a while. The vibe was temporary storage, not warm welcome. My parents said they'd be going on a work sabbatical. They kept using that phrase like it was something I should be excited for. They said it was an opportunity of a lifetime. They didn't cry. They didn't hug me tight. They didn't promise to visit. Just a quick kiss on the forehead and a be good. I shared a bunk bed with their youngest daughter. She didn't talk much, and her brothers ignored me completely. There was no space for me in their routine. I didn't get added to the chore chart or offered a spot at the dinner table. I just found space where I could. My after-school stuff stopped. No more music lessons. Gymnastics, done. I didn't even ask. I already knew the answer. The Morrisons weren't mean. They just had their hands full. I was extra. Their pantry wasn't stocked with my snacks. No one knew I didn't like mayo. I was invisible in the way that makes you tired. At first, my parents called once a week, Sunday evenings. Then it slipped to once a month. Then 4 months went by with nothing. I'd still leave my phone beside my pillow each night, full battery, just in case, but it never lit up. At school, teachers asked about parent-teacher conferences and emergency contacts. I said my parents worked abroad and were hard to reach. I figured that lie was easier than saying, I don't know where my parents are. One day, I used the Morrisons' desktop to print a school report. Their email was still open. I saw a message from my mom to Mrs. Morrison. It said, thanks again for managing her longer than expected. We're still figuring out the next leg of our trip. The subject line was Thailand itinerary. I stopped waiting for updates after that. I started getting myself up for school in the mornings. I made toast, packed my own lunch, did my own laundry. The Morrisons weren't neglectful. They were just focused on their own lives. I learned to stay out of the way. I turned 12 in that house. No phone call, no card. Mrs. Morrison handed me a keychain from Walgreens with my name on it and said, sorry, things have been hectic. I told her thanks and put it in my pencil case. It's still there in a zipper I never open. A few weeks later, I was using a friend's tablet in the library during recess. She was scrolling through Facebook and clicked on a photo from someone I barely recognized, a family friend from church. There were my parents, sitting at an outdoor cafe in Paris. Another photo popped up, them posing with elephants in Chiang Mai, then one on a boat in Greece. They'd been tagging along with some retired friends, hopping from country to country. In the comments, someone asked where I was. My mom replied, she's with some good friends from church. It's been a healthy break for all of us. Not once did they ask if I was doing okay. 8 months after they dropped me off, they returned. The front door creaked open one afternoon after school, and there they were, sun-kissed, shopping bags in hand, acting like they'd just gotten back from Costco. My mom opened her arms wide and said, we missed you. My dad added, didn't you have a great time with the Morrisons? I didn't say much, just went upstairs, unpacked the bag I hadn't seen in months, and folded the clothes like it was any other Sunday. Nothing changed for them. But something had changed for me. They expected everything to click back into place like it was a long weekend. Like I just returned from camp and had funny stories to tell. I ate dinner with them that night. I listened. I nodded. I didn't bring up the Morrisons. I didn't ask where they'd been. I didn't show them the stack of worksheets I'd signed myself or the certificate from the school spelling bee I'd won in March. I sat there watching them talk over each other about travel delays and jet lag, about which souvenirs to give, which relatives. I kept quiet, chewing slowly, hands folded in my lap. They never noticed that I barely spoke. I went to bed early that night, stared at the ceiling, and realized I hadn't seen my bedroom in nearly a year. The posters were the same, the shelves untouched, but it didn't feel like mine anymore. I didn't fight.